Ladies and gentlemen, big hairy news.
Hey, kia ora koutou whānau. Welcome back to Big Hairy News or Bright Hairy News. Hi, Magenta. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. It's a long
Anything
weekend. I'm still
exciting?
trying to remember that that's actually a thing.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I've been to a lot of drag this week. So I've done
Ooh.
2 drag bingos, and tomorrow I'll be doing a drag quiz.
Ooh.
Yeah, I even won $160 in bar tab at bingo, so hell yeah,
Nice. That's not bad at all.
right?
Any particular reason for all the drag shows, or is it just a
It's
week
just
of
drag
drag?
bingos on every week. It's free, and it's good
Nice.
vibes. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, if anyone's interested in that in Wellington,
Yes.
get along to that during
Yes,
the week.
Wednesdays and Thursdays, drag bingo. It's fun.
Sounds amazing. Any plans for the weekend? Any long weekend excitingness, or is it just chilling out?
Mostly just the quiz, honestly. Not a huge weekend. I mean, holidays are just kind of generally holidays for me. I don't really tend to do too much. Got to have money to do a lot of stuff, so.
It's true. Is it always is it a wee bit quieter in Wellington during holiday?
Yes, no, it is actually. When we went to one of the bingos, it was quite empty because I didn't realize that a lot of the uni students were away. So, yeah.
That makes sense. And I imagine a lot of people were taking the long weekend and heading away.
Oh, I think a lot of people are also doing, the gaming of holidays between now and Anzac, and so I know a
Yep.
lot of people doing that.
3 days off, 10 days, 3 days off, 10 days off, I think it is. 10 days holiday this year.
Something like that. It's
I remember one year
all I
it
know
was
is my therapist is doing it. So
I remember one year it was something like 13 days off. It was great. It
Oh,
took 4 and
yeah.
you got 13. It was imagine
It's
that.
nice. Yeah.
Imagine that. Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful Easter weekend. I hope we can lead you into a wonderful Easter weekend with some Friday shenanigans, as we always do.
Yeah. Are you doing anything for Easter or?
No, sewing at the moment.
Oh, of course.
Yes, that's my
Yeah.
big project, so I can get some other stuff out the way. But yeah, no stress. I've got to get done by next Friday. So
No stress. It'll be fine.
no stress.
Don't worry about it.
It's fine. It sits on my body. I think the 2 pieces kind of work. I just haven't got a full piece all together yet. So
Yeah. She'll get there. She'll be right.
it's fine. Yeah. So that will be most of my Easter weekend and all of next week. And next weekend I'll have some family up. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Before we get into anything crazy exciting, we do some housekeeping, which is not working.
Well,
Hold, caller. Hold.
in this economy, guys.
There we go. I keep forgetting to put this up, but this is something that Magenta made, which I appreciate. There we go.
Right.
3 ways you can support us. Nice and easy. You can get little QR codes if you're if you need a little. You can even zoom in. Sorry.
Right.
You can support us on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. Huge shout out to our Patreon members. You make this all possible, and we couldn't do what we do without you. So you keep the lights on, and it means we can do amazing things. And we got an award nomination too. So that's because we have an amazing community that supports us independently. So yeah, that's exciting. I still can't believe it. It's just like
Every
Such
time
cool
I
news.
see the clip of Jeremy like saying big hairy news, I'm just like, that's buzzy.
Hell yeah.
That's
Hell
buzzy.
yeah.
I like that. I love it.
You can also support us through the BHN shop, bhnshop.nz, in which we currently have the Rainbow Buffer hoodies on pre-order. And I think you can... So the first lot, if you pre-ordered before today, should be coming in soon. The next lot you have to do before next Friday. So if you're still wanting a Rainbow Buffer hoodie, make sure you go and do that. And then you can also join us in the community on Discord, which is all free. You can have a conversation. You can roast us. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of memeing.
There was tech support going on in the voice chat earlier today.
There you go.
It's a diverse place to do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
Within reason.
Nope. Right. Well, shall we get into a small recap of the week?
What a week it's been.
Yeah, it has been a week. It has been a week. There's been lots of things. Starting with Judith Collins, who was on the Q&A show on Sunday, talking about the increase of the defence budget, with her famous line of, we need the money. So we'll need the money, so we'll find the money. I think was essentially along that line.
It has to be found.
It has to be found, which is quite interesting because there's been a lot of projects that the money has to be found, but apparently that doesn't count. Mm-hmm. Quite a good interview as well. There's something about career politicians that is you kind of have to appreciate it a little bit. Comparing it to like the likes of Luxon, who's just dog shit at this stuff, and it's just PR spin. They actually know their stuff, and I know when they're just bullshitting and they're dodging the question, but you still appreciate it because at least they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, they're at least being politicians. They're not just being CEOs who are pretending to be a politician.
Yes. So someone like Judith, I can appreciate in some regards.
Even if we don't like her, she's technically good at what she's doing, especially compared to her current peers, which is the bar is in hell, but
it's true. Doesn't have to be too far off the floor to look good. Then we had a bit of a deep dive, an interview with some people from the States about the 2x2 religion, which is currently under scrutiny because one of the national MPs was found to be connected to it. And there is an ongoing FBI investigation, sort of a worldwide investigation around some abuse, pedophilia, is it correct?
I believe so.
At least sexual abuse and just general abuse allegations, which is pretty culty type stuff. And fascinating. What came out of that was that they were shocked or awed, I guess is probably the correct word, that someone who was in or part of the religion had gotten themselves to such a high level of power, basically, or in government in some regards. They only knew of one other person who had done that. I didn't
like when I heard that. I was like, don't like that.
Yeah, freaky. So interesting stuff that came out. It's a really, really good interview. I found it very fascinating. Culty stuff, I think, we all kind of like that sort of, well, it's terrible that it happens, but I think we all kind of like to learn a little bit about the secret stuff.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see how people that are like you and me can end up in situations like that. Like, it is just fascinating.
Yeah, for sure. Bernie Sanders at Coachella.
Yeah.
I never in my life would have expected to see that. That is incredible. Especially at his age and of his generation. He's well into his 80s.
Yes.
And he's young 80s, I believe. But he just completely was it's amazing. 125-ish thousand in front of 125,000 people.
Oh, hell yeah.
125-ish thousand. It's some of the biggest names in music. That's that is so cool. I don't know. That was a highlight of my week. Was just like, oh yeah.
We need to see good things coming out of America, especially. So it's always good to see Bernie Sanders doing his thing, to be honest.
Yeah, and I know he's old. He looks frail, but he's still got his mind and he's still in it. He knows his stuff. He knows what he's talking about. He's fighting the fight he's been fighting since well into the 70s, 80s. Even probably before that.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really hope that he gets to see the America that he's been fighting for before he goes.
I mean, I don't think. Okay, I hope that means that he'll be here till at least the age of 100.
Yeah,
I'm sure
that guy's
that'll
not going
give him
anywhere.
enough time.
Yeah, there's no way he's not going anywhere. Then we had the what was it? Not the People Against Prisons. What is it called?
The thingy in the whoosy, what's it?
Yeah, the thingies in whoosy, what's it? The guys whoop defunded the police.
Yes, sensible sentencing trust.
Thank you, sensible sentencing trust. I had People Against
Prisons,
SS2, completely opposite end of the spectrum. Going after Tamitha Paul and basically creating probably one of the best campaign ads that Greens have gotten for free.
I mean,
absolute dummies. I watched that and I'm like, fuck, she's so cool.
Yeah.
How can I vote for her?
Yeah, it definitely appeals to a lot of the younger audience. The only problem is that audience isn't always as active and engaged in voting. So that's the other step that we have to kind of push past it. Like, it's great that it appeals to us, but does it appeal enough to make you want to do something? That's the important part.
Go out and vote. Yeah, that's but I'm hopeful. There's some cool people in there. And then the other thing was Hannah on Stan Walker. I believe it's his music video, which I loved it. It's amazing. But also I don't know how big he is in that generation. He's kind of our generation's pop star. Does he still
he's pretty
with the youngies?
Yeah. Okay. Especially because, like, I mean, I would argue his music has shifted completely from the Stan Walker of Australian Idol that, was our generation, whereas I would argue now he's actually quite a strong presence for Gen Z, especially being that he's one of, like, the biggest, like, real Maori artists out there, especially with he had his TV show, The Walkers, which obviously followed his whānau and, like, especially the health issues that he had, obviously, with that stomach cancer that him and his family have. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely like across a lot of those for sure. Because I mean,
that's cool.
When I was at uni, he was always playing.
No, that's cool. I'm glad to. I mean, surely his PR team knows that that's gonna land, right? They're not gonna.
Oh, everything was planned to a T. Actually, I was reading an article about it, and like everything in that, like, there's a lot of actually like historical kind of things they're trying to point to, and like it's everything down to like every single item of clothing, the locations. I'll find the article.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'd love to learn more about that. It was pretty cool. Cyber Godlin. Major Stan Walker went to Coachella and took Hannah with him. Honestly, that would have probably popped off. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't have. But considering the global hit that Hannah was with that haka, I feel like that could have popped off.
Absolutely.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah. Nah. I mean, I definitely think people would definitely just lose their minds if Hannah came out and did her thing.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Another interview we had this week was Dr. Gary Payenda slamming Simeon for some of his it's just idiocracy around in his comments around doctors wanting to strike. For a whole 24 hours, which they've not done for a long time, or if ever. It may have been since the 80s. No, It was definitely not in recent times, at least. Doctors haven't had a pay rise, I believe, since the 80s. And they're asking for a 12% pay rise. Simeon's calling them out because he's like, oh, well, the average is 340 blah 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 thousand, which is definitely not true. I have friends who are doctors, and they will definitely say that is absolute bullshit. I think one of them is training to be a specialist. I think she might reach 100K, maybe, by the time she's finished becoming a specialist. It's bugger all. There you go, 1989. So,
yeah. Which
so 12%
is before we were born,
probably,
guys. Sorry to make you feel old.
Probably makes sense. I really pissed off at those like, oh, the top end nurses get 200 and something thousand. Doctors paid 340,000. It's no.
Yeah.
That's I think a lot more doctors would be coming here to practice if that was the case. But yeah. No, someone says mode versus median on that one. Yeah. Might need to talk to Simeon Brown about numbers. I know he worked at a bank, but I'm not sure if that's his thing. Clearly it's not.
Maybe he should go take some stats papers up at the uni.
I feel like that every politician should take a stats paper. Then Kieran was on breakfast with this absolute moment where he just called out Simeon for being untrustworthy. I can't remember the words that he used. I'll see if I can find it. But he
diplomatically called him a liar. It was great.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't remember the exact words either, but he diplomatically was like, nah, don't trust him, don't like him.
No respect for him was was one of them.
No respect.
Pretty much. He could have just said, I fucking hate the guy, he's full of shit. Probably would have landed just the same, to be honest. I would have quite liked that to come out of a politician.
But you know, there's some of those people who don't like foul language, so you know.
It's true. It's true. He's more than welcome to say that in my circles. Disingenuous. There you go. That was the word I was looking for. So I appreciate it. Thanks, Kieran, for giving us a nice little. What do you do when you do your flick of the wrist and it makes like the snap noise? Such an old school thing.
I don't know.
No.
Does it ever? I don't. Does it? I'm a small.
It's our generation or prior to the mic drop. I think.
I just call it a whoop.
Yeah, it's like a whoosh, but you do it with your wrist and it goes snap. I don't know.
I
Anyways. And then lastly, we had of the highlights of the week, we had Piri Huruwai Seeger, if I get that correct, from the Aotearoa Liberation League, talking about his confrontation with Costello. Casey Costello, from the sounds of it, sounded pretty, I don't know, friendly is not the word. Above board. I don't think there was anything crazy going on. It's not like he got aggressive, as far as I understand.
I think she was the hostile party in that exchange. So
it seems, which I don't put it past her. Yeah, I really appreciate him coming on and even just saying, actually, you know what, I may have the post we put out perhaps didn't paint the picture correctly. Maybe I should have had my phone out so that I had photo or video evidence so that people couldn't use that against me. You know, being that there's probably powers against him bigger than his powers. Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. That was it was quite an insightful interview, and I think the general gist that I got out of that was that politicians are accessible. They are politicians who make the laws. They have power over what we can and can't do in society. They make laws on our behalf, and when appropriate, which I think is any time that they're in office, we should, as people, be able to confront them peacefully, peaceful protest, respectfully, call them out on their bullshit, and say, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Well, yeah, I mean, they literally get to fuck with our lives, so it's not even like he's trying to fuck with her. He's just literally going, "Hey, you are a person that is affecting so many people, and I have a chance to tell you how I feel about that." Like, I don't think that we should be able to have those kind of I guess forms of activism, like in general, because like why should we kind of go through some channel where you write an email where who knows if she'll actually read it, or if someone that she pays will read it and then tell them their interpretation that she won't even, like that's the thing, is those processes kind of take us, the people who employ her, away from her on purpose. So like I think it's absolutely awesome that he was like, hey, I stand by what I've been saying. I stand by my, my ethics, and I have a chance to talk to you because you know what? You haven't really been listening to us. So maybe I can talk to you directly. Like, I love them. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Aotearoa Liberation League, but it was so good. And exactly, like he took accountability for, maybe not necessarily relaying, but to be quite honest, even if he had have like say fixed the mistakes in his kind of putting that out there, I don't really think the reaction would have been any different than what we've had anyway. People were going to go, there's a man who's gone and talked to a woman, and I bet you he was being aggressive because like I would have been aggressive, so I'm going to assume he would have been aggressive. Like, it's unfortunately something that I don't think he could have wholly avoided, to be honest.
Yeah, other than having, I don't know, video evidence that would say to the contrary, probably wouldn't. Yeah, like you're right, it probably wouldn't have made a difference. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would have blown it up to be suiting whatever the hell they want. They always do.
Sure, for sure. Yeah, so that was the recap of the week, at least our highlights. The other highlight that I've got was Craig Rooney's podcast officially out. You can go watch episode 1 on the Doc Studios or the BHN channel, the one that you're watching it on if you're on YouTube, the one you're watching it on now. And I think it's on Spotify as well. So Locked Out with Craig Rooney.
Hell yeah.
So hope you enjoy that. I am looking forward to watching more of those, that's for sure.
I can never have enough Craig Rooney, so.
No, he's amazing. Our first, well, we got 3 stories tonight. 2 that are somewhat related. Somewhat, not really. It's RFK Jr., officially the House Secretary of the United States, I guess, is attacking autism, thinking it's an epidemic of all things. I know Magenta will have plenty to say about this topic, and I'm quite looking forward to it. I got a wee video to show you that pretty much paints the picture. To give some context, because I know this is something that's been. This is not a new conspiracy theory. It basically, that's all it is. I mean, misinformation, disinformation, whatever it is. It's a conspiracy theory. Really.
Kicking a dead fucking horse. That's what it is.
Yeah. So it's a myth. It's been very much. Oh, I can't zoom in. Hang on. Once I get this to go. The vaccine autism myth is one chilling example of fraudulent science. February 28, 2018 marks the 20th anniversary of an infamous article published in the prestigious medical journal The Lancet, in which Andrew Wakefield, a former British doctor, falsely linked the MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine to autism. The paper eventually was retracted by the co-authors in the journal. Wakefield was delicensed by medical authorities for his deceit and callous disregard for children in his case. It took nearly 2 decades for the UK immunisation rates to recover. By the end, UK families had experienced more than 12,000 cases of measles, hundreds of hospitalizations, many with serious complications, and at least 3 deaths because of the myth. So 20 years, 2018, so that started in 1998. And it what do you call it? Persists to this day.
It was also debunked not that long after it even came out, but that's the problem. Like, the alpha wolf myth, that was the same thing. Guy published some basically data that wasn't accounting for other aspects and basically got disproved almost straight away. He's published retractions, but still to this day, people like to think that that's something that actually exists in nature.
Yeah. Sadly so. I've got a small video from ABC, was it? No, it's KPRC.
Hmm?
From the States. KPRC2. There you go. Small broadcast here from the States that pretty much sums it up, which hopefully, if I get this going, you guys can hear it. We can have a listen.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s controversial new comments on autism.
At his first news conference as health secretary, Kennedy addressed the CDC's latest report on the rising number of children being diagnosed with autism. And Thompson has the latest.
Some of the key numbers.
Speaking for nearly 30 minutes, the nation's top health official, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., taking aim at the CDC's latest report on rising autism rates.
This is a preventable disease. We know it's an environmental exposure.
The report released Tuesday says 1 in 31 8-year-olds were identified with autism spectrum disorder in 2022, up from 1 in 36 in 2020. RFK Jr. discounting the CDC's own previous finding that genetic predisposition is a risk factor in developing autism, and doubling down on his assertion that it's an epidemic.
Genes do not cause epidemics. You need an environmental toxin.
Dr. Zach Warren is one of the authors of the CDC report.
We have data that a certain percentage of some types of autism can be clearly explained by genetic differences. We have other evidence suggesting that actually it's the complex interplay of environmental factors.
RFK Jr.'s bleak description of people living with autism causing outrage.
Autism destroys families. These are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date.
Magenta, can you please inform the public? Have you ever played baseball?
I think I've
Have
only
you
ever played
ever-
T-ball, to be honest, because do we even play
Have you-
baseball in New Zealand?
It's true. Have you ever written a poem successfully in your lifetime?
Oh, I'd like to think I have. And
Was
yes,
it all
I've been on
bullshit?
date. I mean, Love on the Spectrum is literally a dating show, bro.
I
Like,
know.
get with the I actually can't take him seriously because it also sounds like because obviously the way that he speaks, it just sounds like he's so heartbroken. Like they're never gonna get to play baseball. They'll never get to go on a date. Like, oh my fucking god! Stop listening to the brainworm, my guy.
Yeah.
Like, it is different. I feel like it's just sending him commands, like this little goblin that's just like,
All right, now I need you to sacrifice the oldest to me.
it's just ridiculous.
Yep, it is. And I assume when he's talking about autism, I believe he's talking about what is now under the autism spectrum disorder. I assume he's talking more so about Asperger's, right? Which is a little bit more on the high end of.
No, you got it the wrong way
No?
around. So,
Right.
what was formerly known as Asperger's was a concept founded during Nazi Germany, which was why no
great.
one people. I mean, some people will still use it since that's something that they may have had since childhood or whatever. But now we don't really tend to. That's why we have spectrum. But what he's referring to is what we would call high supports needs, like autism, is one of the phrases that you could use. And obviously, I think the one thing that just kind of annoys me about this point is that when it comes to, autism, obviously, there's a wide variety of autism, comes in many different flavors, subclasses, all that fun stuff. But there's also something that's been found within autism is like what they call spiky profiles. So kind of having skills that do kind of, say being really, really good at programming language, coding, those kinds of things, but, genuinely struggles to say, hold a conversation with a person easily, or, there's just a lot of different areas where people can have deficits and strengths. And I think that's one of the things that he's kind of probably not aware of. Like, there have been times where I've been having a meltdown full on, like 45 minutes before the show starts. And then I can come on here and, that's the thing. Another thing is that a lot of autistic people are really good at acting. Like, it's stupid. It's dumb. And I mean, are we surprised though that RFK was going to come for more disabled people? Also, if he's going to come for autism, he has to actually come for ADHD as well, because there's a high correlation. I think it's something like 70%, 60 to 70% of autistic people also have ADHD. So you guys have to come in. You have to come in the firing line with us. Sorry.
No thanks, I'm good.
We'll bring you down with us.
No, leave me alone. We'll keep watching this. There's a lovely little expert opinion here. Thank you.
And we have to recognize we are doing this to our children.
He also said you'll never pay taxes, just so you know.
Okay.
And we need to put an end to it.
It is demeaning, it is dehumanizing, and it is flat out wrong.
Sam Branson has a PhD in physics and is an autism researcher. He and his 7-year-old son both have autism.
PhD, guys. This guy has a PhD.
Pretty huge dick. Sorry.
He might also have that. I don't judge. This is shocking. This is absolutely. I'm floored. Maybe we should send him to the JFK's office and see what he has to say about it.
A lot of autistic people have quite a bit to contribute to the world.
Kennedy says he plans to provide more autism data in real time, adding that he'll direct resources to studying environmental factors, exposures, and external factors.
And that's where we're going to find the answer.
Okay, apparently there's nothing after that.
Let's start with.
I need the answer to my autism, please.
Is it? I swear it just sounded like real-time data. I feel like they're just going to have like one of those metal detectors, and when kids walk through it, it just goes each time an autistic kid works through. Like, come on!
Whoa, fuck!
What a waste of money!
Funny. Yeah,
what an absolute waste of money.
Yeah, they've got way more problems than autistic people. Like, although I guess maybe they do have Elon. So like,
I was gonna say yeah.
Not all of us. So
maybe their biggest problem is someone with autism. Yes, in their well, not even in their ranks. He's fucking. I don't know what he is. Contractor.
He's basically got the equivalent of getting your license out of a Weet-Bix box.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. Yeah, so fun times in that world of things. Anything to add to that other than anything to clear up about the claim that you'll never play baseball?
Oh, well, see, actually, no, I did find a comment though. I don't play baseball because it's boring. And they pointed out, actually, I have played baseball in Nintendo Wii. So technically, I have played baseball.
Wow. I feel like we need to reward you for that one. That's pretty big.
But that's the thing is, like, I can sit there and do research for, literally for psychology and stuff like that. But you get me to sit down and try to write a CV, and I will literally have a panic attack so badly that I start, like, getting a nauseous stomach and needing to go to the bathroom a lot. So, like, it's like, there's just strengths and weaknesses. And you just kind of, you have to, but that's the thing is, that's why I was really stoked when they were talking about the rise in diagnostic rates. I'm like, that's good. That means that there's so many more people who don't have to wait until much later to find out. Because as I think some people have been pointing out in the chat, a lot of the research that is around autism has been primarily done on middle to upper class white boys. So that means that a lot of people in different, cultural contexts and how things can be, I guess, perceived there's some cultures who might, like, there's even arguments around like cultural differences between whether it's even perceived as a disorder, such as like in Maori, takiwatanga is basically the word that means like in their own time. And like there's different perspectives on how people can view these things. Like, yes, there's strengths, but there's weaknesses. And a lot of those weaknesses are actually mostly because the way a lot of things are set up are not set up for, I would argue, a good portion of people. Like, even just down to some basic things like how, if you're super fucking tall, trying to shower in anyone's house is generally kind of a nightmare. Or if you're super
Sitting in a
short,
plane.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Sitting in a plane, sitting in any seat on a, like, even in a car. Exactly. Like, there's so many things that are not, so many of these things aren't made for a good portion of people. So, anyway, but I mean, the only thing I think also that really worries me though is that it feels like our government has been copying their homework a lot recently. And I'm like, does that mean that we're on the chopping block here next? Because, the copying of homework has just, I mean, not been surprising at all, since we know that it's all Atlas's playbook, but it's not good, because I'm like, okay, well, how are they going to target us? What else? What other homework that they're doing are they going to copy at this point? It's just, fucking frustrating, especially since we've already seen, like the Whaikaha issues with the, announcements being made on Facebook about cuts to disability. I also saw something about they wanted to cut something in education, but they're also going to divert that money to like disabled education now or some. It's all these just stupid little parts.
Yeah. That is the thing that worries me is that we are copying their homework in America, and I think more and more that's becoming more and more obvious, especially with how outrageous the stuff out of the States is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm probably more more informed about the US stuff than just because there's more content creators in that space, and there's just a lot going on. So I tend to be a bit more all over that sort of stuff, but I kind of laugh at it half the time, but then I start to see it here and it freaks me out.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a watered down version of it, it's the same shit.
Well, yeah, I mean,
not
what
immune to
like
it.
to say, when America sneezes, the world catches a cold. Such a dad line. I love it. But it's true. And I mean, like, I feel like even just like a lot of the kind of, I guess, attitude changes I've seen here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, like I basically just feel like I've watched people study America and then do them but worse because it's done in weirder ways. It's just really unfortunate, because I think there are actually a lot of Kiwis now who do kind of think more like them and have kind of been diverging away, and just some of the ways they even react. Like, I feel like the Parliament occupation is probably a really good example. Like, we saw what MAGA and the pandemic and all that was doing, and then New Zealanders fucking went a little stir crazy during lockdown, got a little angry, and then fucking occupied Parliament like they were Americans. Like, it's kind of depressing sometimes when I think about it too much.
Yeah, I get that totally. Shall we get into some super chats, and then this conversation somewhat leads into our next conversation about, we're kind of moving into still in the disability space, which you might appreciate.
Let's go.
But I'll run through these super chats, and then you can get us onto some memes as a bit of a palate cleanser, as you say. Daniel McGuire for $2. Thank you. Happy Easter, fam. Remember, be crime, do gay. Thanks for keeping that going. That's just for us on Fridays. That's just for us. Tippini na Paki. Jesus was Palestinian. Fight me. Happy Easter. Thank you for reminding us. Thank you. Hi, Matara for $5 says, as a disabled person, I stand with the strikers. My care can only be adequate if their care is. You can't give from an empty cup. Very true. Yep. Thank you. Huber for $5 says, even if vaccines cause ASD, it is better to be autistic than to die painfully from a preventable disease. I have Asperger's. I don't need a cure.
Facts.
Mr. Arvids for... Mr. Harvard, I was going to say doctor. Mr. Arvids for $2 says, H Bomber Guy has a great video about vaccines. Look it up. Thank you.
Nice.
Mr. Arvids for $5 says how he anti-autism when the most autistic man is in Trump's cabinet, Elon. A lot of people have asked that question. Yeah. How does he feel about this? He's probably too fucked in the head to care. Kai Matata for $2 says, fun neurodivergent fact, TISM is an anagram for STEM.
Yo! Fuck, I never thought about that.
Thanks for blowing Magenta's mind.
Right? That was some like stoner thoughts kind of shit.
All right, throw us some memes this way.
You struggling to sleep after being rude to your friend, billionaires after ruining our world and blaming it on minorities. So true. Sorry you're a peasant or whatever. This was Chewie posted that one. This one. The US House of Representatives just passed a law that would remove the right to vote for 70 million women. 216 Republicans voted for that law. 206 Democrats voted against that law. So if you still think both sides are the same or both sides are bad, there's no point in voting because you are stupid. And that is how I felt about the Americans who died on hills. This motherfucker doesn't know what he's doing. He started a trade war with the penguins. Penguins, Carl. Crazy how Katy Perry and Lauren Sanchez going to space for 10 minutes is supposed to inspire women, but the women who already worked at NASA are getting fired and getting their bios removed from the site, which just is so disrespectful. I also loved Chewie's reaction when he realized that they didn't like even go properly into space.
A whole 11 minutes.
Right? Man. So impressive to some men. Capitalists in 1968 freaking out about hippies. Neoliberalism. Just asking questions. Immigrants took all the jobs. I can't get a girlfriend. Fascism. And it's a very... I like it. I like it. And I mean, this one, I felt like, you know what? I do not get why people like Katie. She's had a lot of controversies. Like, I mean, there's that whole issue around that song she put out that was this feminism thing. Or Gollum's Pledge. He ringi tahi tato. We are now one ring. We'll finish this one. Deport terrorists to max security prison. Accidentally deport random brown people. Refuse to release innocents. Homegrowns are next. That'll be enough to get us through for the next one.
Jesus. Memes hurt, man.
Yeah.
It's a reflection of shit the world is going through, isn't it?
Truth fucking hurts.
To be what was it last week? We had the Velociraptor came on. That's what memes.
We do actually have some. We do have another throwback meme from the meme-based days. So don't worry, we have one coming.
Good. I feel like those days of memeing was just. It was funny, so you know. Yeah. It was kind of that, like, grey humor.
Yeah, just a little.
Now it's just full on black humor. It's just dark as it gets, you know. But
we're just trying to survive.
We live in.
Yeah,
make the most of it. Make your memes.
Right, make me more memes. Make it harder for me every week.
The next story, which kind of leads on somewhat from the last story, which you might appreciate this one again. 1 in 6 New Zealanders is disabled. Why does so much health research still exclude them. So this
Good
is this was on The Conversation, written by Rachelle Martin and Kaaren Mathias, I assume, from the University of Otago and the University of Canterbury. And this does a wee bit of a deep dive of sorts into a lot of research in the academic space, a lot of reviews of clinical trials, that sort of thing, into why, or maybe more so, pointing out the fact that disabled people are often excluded from clinical trials, scientific research, particularly in health. The big one that comes out of this is the practical steps to make a difference. So some of the key strategies needed to ensure health research becomes more representative, ethical, and effective have been outlined by the Disability Inclusion and Research Collaboration, a global network of researchers, making sure disabled people are visible in research grant applications. Funding bodies must actively require and reward the inclusion of disabled participants in health research studies. Include disability perspectives from the very start. Disabled people should be involved in formulating research questions, designing studies, and advising on accessibility measures. I have lost my Bluetooth, but it's fine. Ensuring disabled people are research participants whenever possible. Researchers must clearly explain and justify any exclusion material related to disability, which need to be grounded in legitimate safety and ethical concerns rather than mere assumptions, making it routine to report on disability status. Research studies should use data to identify, track, and report on participants' disability status, so it is easier to monitor inclusion efforts and outcomes. By committing to these basic measures, health research can become more representative, ethical, and effective. It will also help the research produce insights relevant to a broader range of people, ultimately leading to stronger and fairer healthcare systems. This is about more than justice for disabled people. It is about ensuring medical research achieves its true purpose to improve health for everyone. Now, I'm going to let you have a few thoughts on this because I'm sure you do. Can you please remove my screen from the screen, and I will just fix so I can actually move my mouse again.
No worries.
Bloody driver.
Well, yeah, I mean, when it comes to this issue, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people could probably see that the things that they're trying to get them to change are quite reasonable, and they actually allow for better, I guess, what would you call it, testing, make it more rigorous. So it is just, it is annoying because, like, I mean, we, when I was going through, like, my uni studies, we obviously got taught about Mātauranga Māori methodologies within, like, research and all of that. And within that, it's about kind of making sure that when you're doing these kinds of studies, that especially if you're including a specific population, which you can do, it is easy enough to do. You just have to make sure that it's kind of including them. So it's by them, for them, with them, rather than the method of kind of just being like, oh, you know, we probably can figure out that'll probably apply to you the same way it applies to other people. And that's just, that doesn't work. And I mean, there's a lot of areas where those kinds of methodologies, they just produce way better outcomes. They have a lot more rigorous, I guess, testing measures in terms of like what they call validity in measures. So yeah, it just makes sense to change those things. But whether they will.
This here as well, just to bring this up as well. Most funding still goes to research investigating the causes, genetics, and treatment of health conditions. And while these are important to study, there is still too little research focused on how people can live well with disability. Good point. A recent review of research funding for autism, for example, found the most money and number of grants were awarded to biological research. But a survey of about 500 people from New Zealand's autistic and autism communities found people wanted more research into their mental health, well-being, and practical skills development. And that very much kind of leads on nicely from our previous story, and how JFK is trying to find the cause of autism. Oh God, what are we going to do? And putting all that money into basically nothing. What a waste! Instead of looking at how we can improve people's lives and who have autism. You know, what supports do they need? How can we make society easier for those with mental health issues, for example?
I mean, there's so many, like, that's the frustrating part is, like, they only started studying autism, or the first ever person to be diagnosed with autism literally only just died, I think, last year it was. But yeah, so we've literally only got the research that's based off, I think, approximately the last 80-ish years. And obviously that foundational stuff very much was, and for a long time it was very much was, okay, well, this is a problem that we need to solve, rather than seeing that the problem is not the neurotype. The problem is the fact that the neurotype is struggling to integrate into a society that was not built for them to really exist in very well. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of research that's being done. Like, I actually follow, obviously, I think I've mentioned it before, I follow quite a few people overseas who do a lot of research around cannabis and autism, but also LSD and autism. There's some really interesting research around how microdosing LSD can be quite beneficial for neurodivergent people. I think there's also some for psilocybin and all those types. But yeah, there is so many, I guess, areas that I think are just so much more important. Like, let's not really focus on whether or not we can fix autistic people. It's more like, hey, how can we help? Like, those, he says, oh, you'll never be able to get a job. A lot of the reasons autistic people and neurodivergent people are held back from jobs is because neurotypicals are assholes and they don't like us. They've done studies on that. They've literally done studies on that. And just, yeah, the fact that there are some things and accommodations that other people don't think that they should give to neurodivergent people that actually would mean that a lot of us could be able to integrate and, I guess, pay more tax, I guess, because we do pay tax, but I'll pay more tax if it's in jobs that work with, the issues. And it's just frustrating to just consistently see, or like, because even when I was studying, like, some of the things that I think were on our assignment, we had to basically have a research proposal. And one of my research proposal was about looking into the effects of like when you go undiagnosed. There's actually some research out there that does point to the fact that going undiagnosed can have more negative health outcomes than if you're identified earlier in life, especially for ADHD people, because a lot of people with ADHD who go undiagnosed, unfortunately, end up in the prison system a lot. So yeah, there's a plethora of areas that could be explored and should be explored, rather than wasting our time talking about fucking, having brainworms control these things. It's just there is so many more worthwhile things we could be spending money on, but they'll waste it on their hatred instead, I guess.
It's funny that you talk about tax, and I was thinking there's the tax that we pay the government, but there's also a tax on us. In order to pay that tax, sometimes there's a lot of tax that we pay.
Oh,
in
absolutely.
other words, in managing that, and managing, going to see counselors and therapists, and just to manage being able to. I mean, that was it for me. It was like, I can't hold down a job because my ADHD got in the way pretty much, and then because my ADHD got in the way, the depression, anxiety came up. So it's
yeah.
And then I just ended up, spending all my money on fixing myself just to hold down a job where actually I don't have to do any of those services if I'm not holding down a 9 to 5, and life is much better. So, and that's very privileged position that I come from. But
yeah, but I mean, I think there's also like a huge point in that, like, people talk about spoon theory, but the other thing too is that spoon theory, absolutely, it's great, but it's also, some people start with negative spoons and then have to do so much more. Like, I think a lot of neurodivergent people have to just genuinely work harder to do the baseline normal things, and then, you know, once they get that cream on top, that's obviously great. But a lot of the time it's just a struggle for people to do the basics rather than have the freedom and the capacity to do more.
yeah, there's I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a personal anecdote or if there was research on it. In that if you accommodate for autistic people in the workplace, probably more that are would you say high needs autistic?
High support needs, yeah.
High support needs, yeah. If you can create a role for them inside of, you know, your normal company, and it's the perfect thing for them, like maybe they're, I don't know, super into spreadsheets or whatever it is, and it really it fits that need that they have, they can be the best and most productive worker in your company. I mean, that's pretty.
I mean,
shit
we
to
already
have to
have
think of it
that.
like that, but
we already
like,
have that. Like, the IT industry is run on the backs of neurodivergent people. Like,
yeah.
the IT department is fucking 100% running on that. There's quite a few actually areas of professions where if you actually look, that's a lot of neurodivergent people. They're just socially acceptable because the way and forms that it takes is wholly different. You know, for me growing up, people didn't really kind of pick up the fact that I wasn't just obsessed with, you know, these certain things. I was just genuinely, these were my fixations. These were the things that my special interest, like psychology was a special interest. No one's going to think that's bad, because if you've got autism, it's bad. But no, it's just, people are kind of only really thinking of the negative stereotype of the annoying, kicking, screaming, barely verbal little boy, you know, like, it's stupid as fuck.
There's some great. There's quite a lot of people who've shared these stories in the chat, and I am reading them, and I appreciate this. We're all on the same. We're on the right place this evening, which is nice. I can imagine for many of us, politics is kind of our special interest, something we like to hyperfixate on.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't surprise me if there's lots of people like that in this community, which is not a bad thing by any means. I think we're all in the right space. I think it's nice.
We all have our strengths.
Yeah, for sure. I'll read through some super chats and we can get some more memes. How does this sound?
Memes.
Citizen Gold for $2. Late fee. Kia ora all.
Chat.
Raijin for $5 is late fee. Just got back from seeing the movie Sinners, which was amazing. 9 out of 10 best film I've seen so far this year. Easily, highly recommended. Ooh, I don't think I have seen
I haven't heard of that one.
Or heard of it. I should look it up.
Yeah.
Jeremy Naylor for $2 is late fee. Not good enough, guys. Not good enough. How dare you be late on a Friday night?
Right? On a weekend. On a long weekend of all things.
I'm going to do a quick little squiz at Sinners.
All right. Yeah, I just did the same. I was like, oh, Michael B. Jordan. I'm keen. I like me a bit of Michael B. Jordan.
Supernatural horror film.
It better scare me.
I don't know. All right, memes. Throw them up.
The Chinese embassy trolled the White House Secretary Caroline Leavitt for boycotting Chinese products while wearing a dress made in China. I've been loving the memes that have been coming out of China, just absolutely ripping on them. It's great. Pictures of a cable chewing rodent released. Capitalism is a death cult. I don't know, I just thought it looked sick. Oh, this one. So On March 30th, a fencer named Stephanie Turner forfeited a bout because her opponent was trans. Her refusal to compete disqualified her from the competition. Here's the thing, though. Fencing is typically a co-ed sport. At non-elite levels, Turner herself was competing against cis men and won a week earlier. Turner's actions prove that nothing about the trans athletics moral panic is about fairness. After she made international headlines, a conservative group gave her a $5,000 Courage Award for her unsportsmanlike conduct. Her trans opponent went on to place 24th in the competition. So, yeah, I mean, get dunked on. This one just I'm gonna start with Tim Sutton. Fuck you. I love this one so much. I can hear him just say suck my dick. I just had a Zoom meeting with my boss and he said empathy is a sin now. Yeah, so I guess I'm supposed to tempt you to care about others. I'm confused. Me too. Have you seen this one? You wouldn't eat an oligarch. Do you know the fun fact about this intro?
I remember seeing something or reading something or watching something that explained it.
Fun fact about the intro for the You Wouldn't Stealer. The song that they use in that was a stolen piece of music.
Yep. Yeah, I had heard that.
Every time it gets me. Also, this is a throwback meme that someone said they found for a while back, but with Judy being all up in our grills, I just should we leave it there? Leave those for after.
Yeah, come back to community memes. Oh man, it's so good, so good. I love
community. Have good memes as well. We're gonna get into the real juicy stuff soon.
The real juice. So this is something that popped up on my feed, which I thought you might be quite interested in. Now I don't want to. People already think that we've got a bit of a boner for Stanford. I don't love everything she's done in education, but there are some things that I go, props, Stanford. Props to you. One of them being that she wants to get rid of something that my household statistician literally came home and complained about, and he's like, I don't know why the fuck this exists, I want it gone. She might be removing it. At the request of the education, Ministry of Education and things. A bit of a divided opinions on that particular thing. But anyway, this is something different. Compulsory consent education proposed for schools.
Yes, I did see this earlier today.
What would you call
sex education?
Yeah, it's in sex education. I was thinking
/health education.
Yeah, I was thinking consent is like sexual consent, but it's actually
it's a wide variety. Yeah.
So the Ministry of Education is consulting on whether consent education should be made compulsory in schools. It released the draft Relationships and Sexuality Framework for consultation this week, outlining the proposed teaching to be covered in relationships and sexual education, RSE, each year from years 0 to 13. It aims to ensure the content is age-appropriate, evidence-informed, and detailed about what is taught and when. Research conducted by ERO last year highlighted significant inconsistencies in the delivery of REC across the country. It found more than 3/4 of recent school leavers said they didn't learn enough about consent. Young people have been very clear that consent education is important to their development and have advocated for this inclusion in the national curriculum. We have ensured that age-appropriate consent education is present in all year levels of the draft framework. So I had a look. And I found the proposed changes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the one for families. There is a full one for like teachers where it really explains it, but this kind of gives you the overview. Not a teacher. I can't really talk to any of these things and what's appropriate. It's not really my field of expertise. It's the sort of things you would expect, though, from years 0 to 1. So you're age 5 and 6, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, all the way through to year 13. 12, does it go up to year 12 and 13?
Yeah.
So in the first year, we're talking family structures, making friends, understanding feelings, asking for help. There's a wee bit about seeking and refusing permission, responding safely to adults, personal space, digital devices, safe and unsafe secrets, and these things like my body, which is your body parts, body similarities, differences. So really starting at what kids learn, just things that kids need to learn about themselves, and things like respect, bullying. There is a wee bit of there in year 2, so you got consent. So it goes from seeking or refusing permission to consent, which is saying yes or no to a request, and then safe and unsafe secrets. I don't know how far away you guys are from primary school. I remember learning some of these things, but maybe not explicitly, but safe and unsafe secrets is one that I can think of.
Yeah, I think the problem is that education's so different across the country that I don't think it's consistent, or hasn't been.
And also throughout the ages as well, because I was a 2000s kid, year 5, year 2000. So I think where it starts to get probably more interesting. So year 7 is year 8 is the last year of intermediate primary. It's kind of it's still technically under the primary. It's a different union. I can just think of it as union to the post-primary. 2 different unions, but essentially they more so fall into the primary sector than they do the high school sector. So in year 8, they're talking about sexual attraction and orientation, healthy sexual activity, personal safety and relationships, trustworthy online information sources, online risks, content sharing in social media, legal age of consent, harmful sexual behaviors and consequences, judging when relationships are unsafe and seeking help, reproductive system development, physical and emotional changes during puberty, menstrual variations, when to seek medical attention, and reproductive systems. So to give context,
so good.
Yeah. So to give my personal context, I guess, in year 8, and probably even year 7, year 8 specifically, I remember some of the kids, especially the girls in my class, were sexually active. And I know for some of you, that's 12 and 13-year-olds, some of you would go, what? But that was actually things that were happening. Sometimes even younger than that, which was...
Yep.
Not me, but I mean, different people, different life stages, different things.
Different traumas.
Is what it is.
And horrible
so going through the stuff and seeing the sort of at least the harmful sexual behaviors, legal age of consent, that sort of thing is really good to see there. And I don't think this is too different from what I probably came across. The big one being online risks, content sharing, and social media is definitely new in the curriculum. Then you've got year 9s and 10s. So looking at this, they've also got year 11, 12, and 13. This stuff is really irrelevant, I guess, because from year 11 onwards, for the majority of students, health ed and sex ed is no longer compulsory. It's sort of lumped into physical health and PE. So this sort of stuff is, it kind of goes into things like fertility and infertility, perspectives on sexual influence by cultural values and religious beliefs. So getting a little bit more high level about it. But what we want to know is what they'll learn before they come out of that compulsory system.
Yeah.
They no longer have to take sex ed, which I would hope that most students at least get to year 10 and learn. I think they even say it in the full curriculum. This is massive. Year 12 and 13, RSE content is combined to accommodate the significant variability in student pathways. In these years, students can pursue different subjects and qualification choices, which may have their own RSE-related requirements. And I would even say year 11 is the same, unless they've changed the curriculum, which they might lump it into science or something. I'm not 100% sure. So in their last year of compulsory, or at least what I remember being compulsory, you've got diverse values and interactions, communicating effectively when relationships need outside help, sexual harassment, including online, consent and sexual activity, harmful behaviors and impacts, menstruation issues, biological sex, hormonal changes, strategies and products for safe sexual behavior, accessing accurate information and support.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
Probably the thing that kind of relates to this was something that good old Winnie. Good old Winnie.
My favorite person.
Poked his head up a few months ago saying the previous non-compulsory guidelines, which were removed, were woke and out of date. Those guidelines provided optional advice for schools on how to teach children about relationships and sexuality, and aspects are likely to be included in the new curriculum, which will be mandatory for schools to teach, subject to the consultation. The old guidance taught different age groups about consensual relationships, online bullying, sexualities, gender identities, and pornography, but were scrapped last June under the National and New Zealand First Coalition deal. So, that's no longer compulsory. This is now the proposed compulsory
the replacement
teachings. I don't know whether or not teachers have the discretion and schools have the discretion to be able to add those things back in.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, you'd hope so, but at the same time, considering cunt Stella recently, fuck, probably not.
I wonder if this is a little bit of a. I wonder if this is a bit of a puff piece to appease the left. It's kind of the feeling I get.
I mean, it's definitely like, yeah, it's a good thing, but it's because they took out a bunch of really good things that was already existing and are now, you know, having to start over and kind of, because like always, they've just gotten rid of it, but they didn't actually have any fucking backup. They just figured it out at some point. And I mean, yeah, like I'm stoked to see that that's in there, but I'm not stoked that their sex education had already been gutted to begin with. Also, I really liked this comment. Is having a relationship woke? Honestly, in this economy, I think so.
So it does say in year 8, sexual attraction and orientation. I'll just have a look and see if they expand on that. Year 8. What have we got? 5 to 6, 8 to 9 year olds.
This is a good point. This doc is largely a product of the ministry, which will not be staffed with anti-woke zealots. Or would be. Who knows? I mean, they don't even have a lot of the good researchers in there anymore.
Yeah, so it only goes as far as some people are sexually attracted to people of the opposite sex, heterosexual or straight, and the same sex, homosexual, although preferred terms usually include lesbian or gay, or both sexes, bisexual. Well, they got bisexual in there.
So pansexuals. No, that's the thing is though, bisexual. Of course, they're going to pick the one that technically highlights a binary.
Some people may be they got asexuals in there too. Some people may not experience sexual attraction towards another person asexual.
That's surprising.
So that's surprising. That is very surprising.
I doubt they'll teach it accurately, but it's surprising.
The last thing I'm going to actually look up is intersex. Oh, wow. Okay, interesting. Year 10, 14 and 15-year-olds. Chromosomes, hormonal levels, and anatomy are all determined whether people are considered biologically male or female. Sometimes people have a mixture of the term and the term for this is intersex. It's only time.
But it'd be interesting to see what the differences would be if we had the say a document of what they've just removed versus.
That's what I So I tried to look for that and I couldn't find it very easily. Year 4, you've got gender stereotypes, so to see what else we've got for gender, identifying or responding to gender stereotypes, for example, favorite colors and career aspirations. Act in a way that are inclusive for everyone, regardless of differences such as gender, ethnicity, behaviors. those based on gender, culture, sexuality, religion. Gender stereotypes can exist. So it's more about stereotypes than necessarily the differences.
I mean, hey, at least there's a mention.
Yeah.
That's something. And I'm still glad. Like, I mean, I would have loved to have this kind of education properly when we were in schools. And because again, it depended on which school you went to, what kind of education you got. So like, I think it would be really good to start, just, I think I've seen quite a few comments. I think there we go. It's really hard as a kid and teen to understand consent when you aren't allowed to say no to adults. Life is dictated by them. And that's why, like, I'm a huge proponent of the whole, like, don't force your kids to hug people or kiss people, because when you teach them at such foundational ages that it doesn't matter what they want, it's what you tell them, that already complicates their perspective on autonomy and all of those things.
And that has been added in here, ages 5 to 6, 0 to 1, years 0 to 1, seeking or refusing permission, and then in year 2, consent, e.g. saying yes or no to a request. So I'll just have a quick look and see what that's been expanded to mean. Saying yes or no to requests from others is called giving consent. Everybody has boundaries, and those boundaries. So, yeah. Not quite. It's not really explicit in that particularly, but I guess that's what the teacher discretion will be about.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I reckon while you're looking for something, I can show people something cute that's related to this. I got something. I'm sure some people may have seen this before, but I'll just refresh it so that it starts from the beginning.
Don't you like touching my hair? Please stop. I don't like that. Feel not comfortable. We need more space. Not around me. Don't take it personally. That's just a boundary.
Like that shit's so cute.
I have seen it, yeah.
It's so adorable.
Yeah, I can't find the original. All I can find are the what do you call it? The news articles that say that they're pushing it out. I'd be interested to see what the original one was. Anyone knows
Might
where I
have
can
to
find
look
it?
into that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that. I think I found one thing. If you want to read through the super chats, we'll see if I can find it here.
Yeah. Let's have a look. What do we got? Or the nope, that you unticked. You didn't untick them. There's only one.
What do you mean?
Those ones that were there that you had already read them. You'd already read them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's all right. We'll go with this one anyway.
Oh.
Big ol' B for 899. Love your takes, M's and Magenta. All of rainbow community rights are human rights always. Exactly.
Thank you.
You get it. You're cool. You can sit with us.
Yeah, sorry guys, can't find it, but if I do, I can always put it on to Blue Sky for you, and you can have a read through it if anyone's interested. But yeah, that's all the main stories that I've got for tonight. Is there anything else you wanted to say on anything we've covered? Add to?
I'm not fucking surprised. I mean, I don't know, man. It just feels like at this point, it's always like, oh, cool. Who's the next target? And am I a part of that demographic? It's frustrating too, because I mean, there's bullshit going on in the UK at the moment where they've just passed a law that has basically ruled that trans women aren't women, and it was good old J.K. Rowling donated $70,000 to the Supreme Court in that. So, what a cunt. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, I'm more worried about how all of these things are just wearing people out and kind of just making it feel so much more bleak and grim. It's one thing after the other at the moment. And I think we're all starting to fucking feel the shoulders and the backs are getting a bit bloody heavy at times, especially like queer and people of color, like, because also they often intersect with a lot of other things. A lot of queer people are also disabled. Like, some queer people are disabled and of color. Like, there's just so many just things that we're just seeing going on, and it does feel a bit difficult when there's not a hell of a lot you can do other than doing all these fucking submissions and trying to speak sense into people that you know. It's a bit draining, but hey.
One of the things I was watching, they were commenting on how, we can all be doomers, which is fair. I think we have a right to be doomers. We think we also have a right to clock off and go and touch some grass and enjoy the realities and the good things that are around us. But he was saying that something like fascism, for example, kind of eats itself. Even with the most competent people in power, it eventually falls down around itself. You've got power struggles within the ranks, that sort of thing. So as much as it sucks right now, you kind of just have to, you can keep fighting. Obviously, we're all going to keep fighting for what's right. And we're very lucky here in New Zealand to be able to speak up for now. Don't want to say it for now, but we can speak up. We can say what we think about things, which is good. But things like fascism, especially what we're seeing in the States, it will implode. It's just a matter of when and what damage they can do in the meantime.
How many of us is it taken down with it?
Exactly. So it is. We're in doomer times for sure, but we can prop each other up, and you're not alone in thinking things are going to shit. But there are some good things,
and so do we.
But there are some good things. I think there's some good things, like the community made memes.
Yes. Oh, we're doing more memes. Let's do fucking more memes. Get
Let's
it.
Meme it up.
Nice segue. Aiden came with it. What is the union made of? What is the union made of, Brooke? Just
great game.
Nice.
Great game.
This one. Shame. Every time. That's kind of what I think of, It's just Game of Thrones. I can't catch your ghost ships. Go away. Without Nicola, you want a fairy? There was Kai Matata and Detective Rogers helped with some of the planning for this one. We even got collaboration on our memes.
Who's on the left?
Jag. Julianne Gento.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Chewie posted this one. I think he made it. Get Dr. Gary P into Simeon Brown. And honestly, so true. See, I told you, we're getting an old meme format. Plans to watch a movie. Download stuck on 8%. Jerry McCleary thinks Maori is scary. I love that. How the New Zealand Labour Party thinks politics work when you won't remove the gang patch ban, but you also introduce fair pay agreements. Oh, this is a creation by Rygen, a beautiful art that is depicting old Karen Pancake Better. I keep forgetting the real name, to be honest. Baby, you're a guillotine. Come and show us what you mean. Make it go chop, chop, chop. Oh, they're never gonna stop, stop, stop.
I hope Chewie see that. He will love that.
I don't know. Yeah, actually, I'll have to make sure that he definitely has seen it. But yeah, I saw that and just lost my shit. It's so good. And we definitely won't get
No.
copyright strikes for the way I sung it, so we good.
If there's no choppy, there'll be no stoppy.
Oh, this beauty from Kiwi Bird. Petty Gower's out of touch. Yeah.
Yes, I was going to comment on this.
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can. This can be the meme that starts this, and then we'll save the last few for the end, shall we?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Why not?
Okay,
We might as
so
well. Segue.
I saw Petty Gal's little "How good is Amanda Luxon?" Fuck, that pissed me off a little bit.
Bro.
So, first off, we don't touch, as in we don't talk about politicians' families and children, right? That they're off limits. However, she has publicly spoken out. Therefore, she is the center of this discussion. Guys. I haven't seen the podcast yet. I'm trusting Petty Gow has made a good.
I got a clip if you want one.
Good faith. No, go for it. I would hope that he's made a good faith summary of what she was talking about. In my household, we definitely have debates around talking to both sides and keeping the communication lines open. I am always a little bit on the side of, keep talking and you got to have people with different opinions. But more and more recently, I've been on the side of there kind of isn't any talking that you can do with some people, especially the far right, because the far right do not play by the rules. They don't play by fear. They don't play by empathy. They have none of that. They have self-interest and self-interest alone. You cannot negotiate with people like that. The line that comes through is you cannot negotiate with terrorists, but you can't negotiate with people like that. And one of the things we saw out of the Trump election, the 2024 election in America, is you saw people disown their families because they'd voted for Trump. And those people that disowned their families quite oftentimes were part of the rainbow community who saw what Trump's administration was going to do to trans rights, for example, is a perfect example. And they disowned their family because they voted for Trump. I do not for 1 second blame them for disowning their family. Because imagine, because what she said, the Petty summarized it, but essentially what she was saying is that, that literally says right there, we seem to have lost the ability to hold differences and still be friends. How can you possibly be friends with someone who does not respect your identity, who does not respect the way that you want to live your life? I couldn't be friends with someone like that who voted against. I mean, this is really what you should be saying, Mitch. Sorry, I'm putting words in your mouth. But this is essentially like you. How dare she say that you've got to still be friends with someone who opposes you that much, right? Like that's what a lot of people are saying. The divide is not in the center either which way. It's the progressives, it's the radical leftists, it's radical change makers, and those who want to go back to the status quo, remove people's rights, remove people's identities, and not progress forward into the new age.
I mean,
Petty.
It's also just like so clearly the timing of everything is just like, trying to make the bro look better, eh? Nice try. Let's see.
How good is Amanda Luxon? Yes, Amanda Luxon, because I reckon Amanda Luxon is really good. Why? Because the Prime Minister's wife, as she's known, has given one of the best takes on the polarization of politics that I have ever heard.
And so this statement, first of all, this one just fucked me off because I'm like, this out of all of the ones you've heard, including the really awesome ones from Tangata Whenua, this upper class white woman who hasn't even lived in this country for a good portion of her life, who raised her children overseas, is apparently going to be able to fix all of our fucking problems. Like, I'm so disappointed. Anyway, let's keep going, otherwise I'll rant.
These are Amanda's words, and I quote, "We seem to have lost the ability to hold differences and still be friends." Now, I wholeheartedly agree with Amanda on this. Kiwi society, in my view, just keeps getting angrier and more angsty. So after a recommendation, I started listening to Amanda Luxon on Petra Beggar.
Which, like, yeah, people have gotten more angry because we're still fighting for the same fucking things we've been fighting for a really long fucking time. Like, just to say that this is just people not getting along is so disingenuous. That, like, definitely agree. Kiwis do have a bit of a problem with kind of dying on certain hills, and maybe not. I would argue that as Kiwis, we're often pretty bad at, like, trying to have productive interpersonal confrontations. Like, yes, we tend to avoid that stuff, and we can get a bit fucking heated once we finally have the conversation eventually. But just to imply that
this podcast, Grey Areas, and I could not stop listening. It revealed Amanda as incredibly down-to-earth, grounded, principled, and thoughtful. She bemoaned the lack of critical thinking in modern-day New Zealand, something I also worry about. Amanda said, and I'll quote her again, "I will seek out people who have a different stance on something. I'm not going to grow as an individual unless..."
Go.
Amanda Luxon, come and have a chat. A genuine chat, because we have no qualms with you. When I'm saying I'm annoyed at what she said, I'm saying it from, like, the general perspective of, like, this is the conversation we keep having. Is like, we should all be friends. It's like, no, there's some groups of people that you cannot be friends with when you ideologically oppose so fervently. But if she genuinely wants to seek out conversations that are going to make her and challenge her, I would love her to come on and have a conversation with us. Genuine, not attacking her at all. And I would never do that to someone she's not in the public eye, apart from being the Prime Minister's wife, which I think is just unfortunate, because you can't get thrown in the spot.
Married to him.
Well, I mean, she got thrown in the spotlight, and, you know, it's not her fault. She's not the one who's running to be Prime Minister. She just kind of gets lumped in with it. My opinions on her relationship, I don't know. I don't know her. I don't know them on a personal level. It's not my place to say anything. But if she wants to have a conversation about, you know, having different ideas and wants to be challenged by people on the other side, I wholeheartedly would love her to come on and have a conversation with us. If she is as genuine as Patty is saying she is, or is implying that she might be, if she is, this is the place to have that conversation and be challenged and ask those questions and actually hear from the people that her husband, let's be honest, her husband and the party that he's part of is, and the actions that they're taking actively fuck us over.
I'd love to see her talk to Tam. Bring Tam on, bring her on, let's go. Have a cordial.
And just have a conversation, because I don't know her. I would assume, you know, assuming makes an asshole out of you to me, but I would assume, based on her life that we are aware of, you know, living over in the States, growing her children, raising her children in the States, she is, and having the husband that she has, and the life that she's had for the last 20 years, I imagine, or more, she is incredibly out of touch. I don't care how many fucking soup kitchens she may have been to, she is out of touch. And if she wants to challenge me on that and tell me otherwise, you're welcome to join us on Bright Hearing News. The invitation is honestly and truly open. Clip that, send that to her, and if she's genuine and wanting to have a conversation, come have a chat.
Right? All right, do we keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Why not?
Unless I challenge my own thinking. That is great advice from Amanda Luxon, and something I actually wish I'd do more of myself. Speaking about New Zealand, Amanda Luxon said, "We are way closer than we are apart." Again, this is something I truly believe, but New Zealand just does not feel that way right now. As I listened, I wondered
because of her husband and his party.
why I found Amanda Luxon so surprising. Had I judged her? Hate to admit it, but maybe I had. I hope not. It certainly made me reflect. At the very least, I didn't know much about Amanda Luxon. I'd only seen Women's Magazine articles, selfies on Christopher Luxon's Instagram, and the clickbait about her election night biceps. But what I really liked about what Amanda was saying to Petra, I really, really liked it, because it came with a certain authority from the uniquely cursed position of a Prime Minister's partner, where the person you love is hated by a lot of people. The partner tends to cop it too, and in the past, they have been judged, labelled, put in a box, or even been the victim here in New Zealand of cruel rumours and outright lies. As Petra put it to Amanda, some people will listen to this to not like you. You are the baddie, and your husband is a baddie. Now, I learned from the podcast that Amanda...
Which, to be fair, that is true. Like, Jacinda's husband definitely got a lot of hate.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying. Like, there is no reason to go after someone's wife, children, husband. Like what we heard with Shane Jones saying that his wife was accosted when they're at the airport. I wholeheartedly condemn that. That's disgusting behavior. What Peter, right? What he had done was not attack Casey Costello, but confront and have a conversation, and actually made his voice known. I think he said that she was alone at the time. Well, not alone, but she wasn't in the company of her family. And he said explicitly if she was in company of children or family, he wouldn't have done it. You know, he wouldn't have. And I think all of us should follow that in saying, if there's children around, if there's, you know, if it's family, your target is not the family. Don't touch the family. It's not their fault that they just happen to be associated. It's like Elon Musk's children, right? It's not their fault that they're fucking his children. Sorry.
Exactly.
No,
you're good. I'm also just trying to see
get the word out of there. That sounds like then what do you call it? Not the adjective. It sounds like a verb.
Don't ask me English. I'm bad at English. There's just a tiny bit that I was trying to see if I can find real quickly.
Time understanding how different personalities work as a workplace consultant using what's called the Myers-Briggs test.
Which I'm like, oh, the Myers-Briggs test, like that.
Hang on.
You know, the 16 personalities fucking test. You would have seen a million different places.
Yeah, I thought when he said that, I was thinking of the other one, which I really like.
The one that's like INFP or ENFJ.
No,
that one?
That's Myers-Briggs.
There's so many of them.
Not Milton Glasner. There's another one, but basically there's consultants that go around workplaces and they if someone can think of what it is. But I thought when he was talking that he meant that one, and I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of interesting. Those people are kind of interesting. Myers-Briggs can go fuck itself. It's like the worst of the personality tests.
Yeah, exactly. Because actually, in some of the, I thought I'd be like nosy and double check. But yeah, they literally have noted that within the Myers-Briggs, you can experience what is called the Barnum effect, which is where people tend to overestimate the accuracy of descriptions because they're vague, such as how people like practices such as astrology and fortune telling. And that's apparently what makes her qualified to speak on this. Yeah, I mean, it's like there's so many questions around Bowley using such types of tests to begin with, because there's already issues within that. But Myers-Briggs of all things, just embarrassing.
Yeah.
There's one bit, I don't know if we'll be able to find it, but basically I did take a note down that he basically said that Amanda Luxon was like, disagreement with bad intent is destructive, but disagreement with good intent is constructive. Which I'm like, yes, but are you saying that she's implying that what the government and these things are doing is actually with good intent? Like, there's a weird implication that just felt like was being kind of put across that just felt... Oh, yeah, here we go. There we go. I think it's
Clifton Strengths is what I was thinking of. I do like the Clifton Strengths one. I'm not dying on the hill of like, it's the best thing and you have to do it. I actually really like that one. That one I really got. And that's why I was thinking the one that she was part of. If she's part of Myers-Briggs, it's
Myers-Briggs.
Sorry, girl.
No, you're good.
Of conflict away. Her thesis on this was that disagreement with bad intent was destructive, but disagreement with good intent was productive. Some people will say that these all sound like meaningless platitudes, that they're very airy-fairy, but that would just fall into the same divisive and angry trap.
Which, like, this is the part that I don't like. I'm like, what the fuck are you trying to say, bro? Who are you trying to say is the one that is doing the divisive version, and who are you trying to say is doing the cohesive version, I guess? Like, it just feels icky. I don't like it. I don't love the way it seems like he's basically trying to fucking pop her up on a pedestal so that people will like her husband more, because that's pretty fucking obvious. Like, I don't know. What I said on Blue Sky is that I think he needs to change it to "this is the fucking propaganda," because that's what it feels more like what it is. It doesn't feel genuine, and at the same as well to say that this, out of all of the conversations that we have been having over the last however many months this nightmare of a coalition has been in house, like, this is apparently the best take he's heard. Like, I don't even know if it almost feels like I can't believe that, like, Paddy Gower would actually think that if it wasn't for the fact that he's got to make his bag because we all got rent to pay. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem genuine. And if it is genuine, then he's a cunt.
Paddy, feel free to come on and explain.
Yeah, because I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed and mad, actually.
There's definitely people that I think the idea that she had the best take is pretty thin. I think there are some people that have much better takes on how to toe the line between.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's what I just found almost disrespectful. Like, we have had, we have rangatira like Edu Kapakingi and fucking Hana. And you're gonna tell me that hers is the best? Like, she knows this country, like she even understands how social cohesion in this country is maintained. Because I have read so many, for my uni stuff, I have read like Peter Gluckman. He's literally written so many research articles and stuff about social cohesion. He did it all through, like, him and his team did it all through, like, the pandemic. There are so many more qualified people to speak on this, but he's going to say that because she does Myers-Briggs tests when she hires people, she is, like, qualified? I don't know. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think everyone does not disagree that there is a big divide between opinions on the right and opinions on the left. But I think for myself, I'm always conflicted on the idea that we find the middle ground and we have a chat and we try and meet somewhere in the middle, or at least kind of bring people, to a more empathetic side of things. But there is more and more radicalization and splitting of hard left and hard right, and you cannot. We've seen it time and time again that the left try and play the center, and they try to play the good, and they try and do bipartisanship, and they listen and they find a middle ground. The right comes in and they bowl that all over, and they fast track everything, and they rip everything to shreds, and cause the division with the fucking Treaty Principles Bill. Luxon,
and the RSB
wasn't a deal breaker.
RSB, we see you,
and
bitch.
RSB, which is one of the worst of the two, which didn't get any attention because it wasn't as big, but that was a promise that he did make that he will let through. And then all the things like the RMA, we're pulling Oranga Tamariki, all of these things, we were taking Māori out of it, all of these things that the Waitangi Tribunal should be part of, that Māori should be part of, they are ripping that all to shreds, and you want us to then, when we come into power, be nice and play the middle ground and, not reverse the gang patch law. Not undo. And I get why you don't undo all of that shit, because it's a waste of time. I get it. But we are not aggressive enough when we come into power to overturn the stuff and actually move forward. And once people actually see that the things that we want to do actually benefit the majority of people who tend to be on the bottom of the scale, not the top of the scale, they won't be that upset. I think they'll be quite happy. They'll go, oh, fuck, what is this? It's freaking me out a little bit. And then once they see everything starting to move smoothly, then they go, oh, well, I'd hope so. They go, oh, this is no
fucking reason.
I was scared. What was I scared about? This is fine. Actually, I agree.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's a constant battle of, do you try and move people over? And yes, you should always try and move people more and
There
more.
is a
make it
level to
more-
which you've got to try get some of them, but there's some people who are clinging on and dying on hills that you just got to fucking leave behind sometimes, because you might also not be the person to even bring them over. If they're that stuck, then they're probably like, yeah, there's.
And they are such a small number of people. And I think what we do a terrible job of is, and it's hard to say that at the moment because we've got a coalition government that is just so far to the right than it has ever been. And I would like to think it's not national, it's more of the act is the issue and the reason behind it.
All of them.
But together, collectively, they're all moving way too far right that it's just like, ooh, national no longer playing center. They're just fucking hard, shifting hard right. But it's 8%. The ACT Party have 8%. It's those guys that are so fucking radical that we almost keep thinking that it is a 50-50 split. But I think you have to remember that those radical rights are actually quite small.
They are small, but with the way that they've set themselves up, Luxon is allowing them to act as if they are bigger, because he is allowing this, which means he is complicit. All of the things that his minor parties are doing is on his shoulders because he's responsible for managing them. He's supposed to be running this fucking ship and making sure it's a well-oiled machine, and this machine is clunky. It's got weird shit seeping out of weird places. And there's noises that we can't figure out where they're coming from. And also, you're behind on your rent. Like, it's ridiculous. He's terrible at this. And we're just getting absolutely fucked. I'm sick of it. Ask me first. Consent. Maybe they need that consent education. Honestly. I do have a few quick things of positive news if you want to wash the taste out of our mouth in a speed run.
Yeah, sounds good.
Because Luxon doesn't taste very good. I said that the worst way possible, I know. Okay, no, I'm going to have to do some of this by window and then some of this by non-window because I realized there's audio. So, in a second, would you like to put me on the screen? Now is good. This is just a quick touch-in of what we were talking about earlier. So the music video is filmed near the historic Rangiriri Pa, which honors the 1863 battle where over 100 Maori women and children lost their lives, and draws direct links to today's political climate, with Maipi Clark singing the same poem she used during her viral haka moment. And I highly recommend looking in this article on the Economic Times, and I think there was another one by the Rolling Stones that was interesting too. But good news. Turns out that there is now an underwater predator-proof fence that is successfully protecting one of Auckland's rarest and most important freshwater species from the impacts of pest fish. Which kākahi, which native freshwater mussels, play an important role in freshwater ecosystems by keeping the water clean. A single mussel can filter up to 1 liter of water every hour. And it's just good to see that there is something positive, especially in our nature at the moment. So this is to help combat perch. Just a nice little wholesome story, as well as Wellington now reaches 200 kiwi in the wild. Part of their efforts, obviously, to try and bring back the population so that they can not basically, we don't have to keep doing it for them. It's awesome that we're getting even more. Like, the predator-free stuff here in Wellington is really, really exciting, especially because it's amazing just being able to have native birds always flying around, doing their thing. And then what was this one? Oh, yeah, now I'm going to have... Can you take me off the screen for a second, please?
I can.
Thank you. Amazing. And then... Oh, no, remove... Oh, see, look. Sorry, guys. It wasn't me. All right. Now here's a couple of... There's actually a news story from Australia very quickly that is quite interesting. We will go here and... Which one am I on? This one. All right. Now...
has launched an OnlyFans account to help spread the word on policies by the Greens in the lead up to the federal election. The member for Brisbane saying, "I campaign on OnlyFans and Grindr because it gets attention. Sometimes you have to make a splash to make people pay attention to the things that matter."
I mean, isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing?
Can I have permission to make an OnlyFans just for BHN content?
Bro, also, did you know that you get better monetization on Pornhub than you do on YouTube? Yeah, so
I'm just gonna look up which streaming platforms co-host to Pornhub.
Oh god, Pat's gonna be like, what are the children doing to this?
He's gonna look and he's be like, which ones to pick to stream to, and he's gonna be like, Pornhub, what the fuck?
Right? Where did that come from?
What have you guys been doing with my StreamYard account? Ugh.
Right?
No, I'm all for it. I think that's fantastic. He's a good looking guy too. So I mean,
right. And also, again, it's engaging people where they're the most active. You know, New Zealanders are really fucking horny. We have like oh no. But like, oh, I just love it. It's reaching people where they are. Like, New Zealanders are horny. I think if we made politics more horny, like I've been trying to petition for, it would actually be effective. So
I'm quite happy to put on my BHN hoodie, a pair of thigh highs, and go.
Political thirst trapping. Let's go.
I'm quite happy to put this on
Right.
and to bait you with some thigh highs and go. You should vote.
Right? Make the
Oh
orange man.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. We need to make sure he makes. Oh, I might have to contact him and be like, "Have you made an OnlyFans for sexy orange election man?"
We need big titty orange man GF.
That's the best content.
Yeah, I thought you guys might like that. And then we actually have
consent. Nah, it's fine.
We actually got a video meme from Rogers that isn't gonna get me in trouble, and if I don't play it, he'll give me shit for it. So enjoy.
Big
the
boy,
art.
it's big jump, big businessman.
I'm a big kid, look what I can do. I can wear big kid pants too.
Big people doing big
demonetized
portfolios, and you entrust them and you empower them. You're very clear about what you expect them to deliver, but you let them get on with the job.
I can pull them off and on.
Remember that time he stood on the side of the road with a shovel?
Mommy, wow.
The shovel wasn't even due to him.
I'm a big kid now.
Oh, I've got no time for that guy.
Holy shit. That's coming out of the archives. My goodness.
I'll post that on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'll post that on the Blue Sky. There we go. For some reason, I opened up the live stream on that tab straight after, so I just heard us talking to me, and that was weird. I didn't like it. Yeah, that was quite horrible, actually. But yes.
Careful, you might start getting personal media posts from Musk. No, thank you.
Might be the next recruit for his army. Might want you to create more of them. I guess we better finish these last couple of memes too. Now we're here.
Yeah, go for it. Then we'll head off.
Our school lunches are perfectly fine, so you'd be more than happy to eat them every day then. What tips did you get from Kier? What tips, Hipkins? I mean, also this beautiful art. You call yourself a woman of color. The color white? Yes, it's a locational dialect. What location? Julian Bachelor Tours. I just love that.
Love it.
Get it done. Back on track. What is a bad union made of? A clown who takes money from rich donors and dresses like a dickhead. Pākehā when other Pākehā do the bare minimum. I mean, I love them, but it's true.
It's true. You can roast us for that.
David Crymore, which is beautiful. That's if you want these images, they're all in the Discord. And then I didn't change the date, but creation of the week, we have another Chloe from Kiwi Burb. And I'm loving
Burb's on fire.
Right? I just need to see a comic book where she is the hero. So yeah, that's what I need now.
All I can think of from this episode is we're infiltrating OnlyFans with go vote content.
Sweet. I'm all for this. You know I want to make politics horny as fuck, so let's go. But to be fair, think about it right this way. Okay, I proposed this in the Discord chat today, right? We could literally make titles like "Bald Man Fucks 5.2 million people," or like, you know, there is so much we could do with it.
The ideas are endless.
Untapped potential. I'm just saying. Get it? Untapped?
Great revenue stream too. There's a lot of money in OnlyFans.
I mean, we are independent media. We have to find sources of money through grassroots. And what's more grassroots than sex work? Because it's real work. And let's do it.
We'll cook on that. We'll see what boss says.
Big horny news.
Big horny news? I didn't even think of that.
That was not me. I think that was Rogers. I think that's what Rogers did earlier today. So I can't take credit. It was not my creation, but big horny
news.
What's
more roots than rooting?
Hey!
Oh shoot, we've got some super chats. Okay, let's get to the super chats and then we'll head off. Kai Matata, $2 says Takatapui against tyranny. Mr. Ivans for $2 says, I still draw my strengths from Hikoi Motitiriti. Most Arvids for $5. Dude, you give us way too much money, but thank you. Didn't Luxon say not to talk about his wife during Teslagate? That's true, but the difference is now she's spoken up and we're talking about her conversation with Petra. That's why we're talking about her. Otherwise, she's off limits, right?
Or maybe Luxon just wants to have his Will Smith arc and just be like, keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I mean, she spoke. She spoke. Kai Matata, $2 is petty grifter.
I like that. I'm like...
Kai Matata, $2 says going up in the polls may have a different meaning.
Hey, yo.
Oh, you guys are too good.
That's Hey guys, we need to do this. We need to make a political party to be really horny. Let's go.
Meet the people where they're at.
Exactly.
It's been fun tonight, guys. Thanks for making this a wonderful Easter Friday, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I think we've brainstormed some really good stuff to get BHN out to the wider public. We might be the first, second. The Green MP beat us to it. Politics on OnlyFans. It might be really hard to promote it outside of OnlyFans because you do get demonetized pretty quickly for OF. So,
it's easy enough to do if you use the right workarounds. We'll be fine. Also, apparently, we've got to stop making Barb laugh. So, sorry.
Oh, I'm glad somebody does.
Hope it takes you into the weekend. The rest of the weekend. Well.
Oh gosh, you guys have got some interesting comments in there. Well, yeah, thanks for joining us on this Easter Friday. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope we've made you laugh. Like, was it Barbara that said that?
Yep, Barb. Barb's smart.
Barb, we've made you laugh. We will be back next Friday, possibly co-streaming on Pornhub to reach the masses. Why is it not working? I'm trying to put the credits up, guys. I'm procrastinating. I'm trying. I'm really trying.
It's because it's not going to Pornhub. That's why it doesn't want it to work now. It's like, nah, Pornhub or nothing.
That one. I forgot. For some reason, half my apps are in Japanese, which I should know that by now, but don't ask. I don't know how I did it. I don't know. Don't ask questions. Why are we on OnlyFans? Don't ask questions. Okay? Just don't ask questions. It's fine.
Help us settle a debate, whether it be thoughtful or funny, even if we're all creatures of hate. It's a fine line that we're walking together for better, pushing aside the temptation to berate. Let's take a note of the corners we stand in. As many points as the hairs on my chinny chin chin. When the news that we're watching is hairy, knowing all the things that we need to be wary of. Like the rich have the hand out for rewards, while the many have to work at what they can't afford. And the rest of us ain't paying attention, or maybe have questions we're too worried to mention. Other media is still dwelling on trivial facts, vetting peas from the rice and the mice from the rats, and picking and choosing who war puff to run, linking ourselves with the hill to die on. It's gotta come down to a welcoming vibe, with an A and a self and a higher mind. All heavily either this way or that, and will be analyzed by what Chewie and Pat. With the evil in the world trying to mess with your head, and you're sitting on the couch, you're thinking chivalry's dead. Each night, two nights, they're gonna sing you to bed. It's Big Hairy News.
Thanks everyone for watching us on this Easter Friday night and joining us for big, bright hairy news, should I say. And I hope you have a wonderful long Easter weekend, or even longer Easter weekend and Anzac weekend all combined. Magenta, anything to say before we go?
Nope, stay safe. Don't be a holiday statistic, please. We love you. So we need you back here on Tuesday with Papa Pat and Uncle Chewie. Otherwise, just have a good time. You know, just decompress from the week that's been, eh? Keep cool till after school, fam.
Absolutely. And we'll see you again maybe next Friday, but definitely the Friday after that.
All right.
Catch you. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Happy tit.
Danny.